Welcome back to Pauly versus the Internet. It was apparently Harry Maguire week on the Internet with a poor performance on Sunday against Tottenham. The takes were very much out there and they were pretty ridiculous. But we'll start with another player who underperformed on Sunday. Of course we are, Paul Pogba. Question from Diamond Slyman at Your Fave Dilf. That's a name. Not related to the tweet you posted, but do you think a Pogba sale for United would be as important to us as Coutinho's sale for Liverpool was for them? I love Pogba, but we aren't really getting much out of him in the deeper role, sadly. I answered this on the internet, but I'll give the same answer here. It's interesting. Maybe. I think it actually could. The difference is United would then have to replace Pogba as opposed to Liverpool, who sold Coutinho, who was this left wing /10 player who didn't really fit their system. United still need a ball progressor and they still need a creative outlet in midfield. So they still need a Pogba type player, whereas Liverpool did not need a Coutinho type player. Tim at O_Mech responded that Van de Beek can play as a 10 and Bruno instead of Pogba. Yeah, but have you seen Bruno this year? He's been just as careless with the ball. He's been dropping into midfield and losing the ball in the same dangerous areas as Pogba. And if you do that, you're left with the exact same problem you had last season. What happens if one of them gets injured? Next one came from RRB at Downtown Funk 0. What do you think of Buendia? Why aren't we going for him? So Buendia is the interesting one. I've been hearing about him on Twitter all summer long. I've never really given my answer about this, and I will now. We're not going for Buendia for the same reason that all the top clubs didn't go for Buendia. He's a great ball progressor, really good work rate, works his tail off, very one-dimensional. He is no goal-scoring threat. And if you put him on a top team, he'll be found out very quickly. Look at what's happening to Mason Greenwood right now. He's only a goal-scoring threat, and teams have figured out how to play against him. Buendia is too one-dimensional to play at the top level. You know, I put out a tweet saying, I just don't know how many people really understand how dire the financial situation at this club is. And the lame game at Donovan_Bunting chimed in with this good one. It seems not just the fans don't understand our financial situation, and then harping back to that Ed Woodward quote, we can do things in the transfer market that other clubs can only dream of. Watch this space. Ed Woodward never should have said that. Just such a dumb move on his part to say that. What I will say is, he said this in a pre-Neymar market. No one foresaw the market changing the way it drastically did when the Neymar deal went through. Because suddenly, Neymar goes for $220 million, and Barcelona are sitting on a pile of that cash. They want to buy replacements, but the replacements know that Barcelona's sitting on that cash. Suddenly, Ousmane Dembele is a £140 million player. Suddenly, Coutinho is a player worth $140 million. Those aren't £140 million players. And then Liverpool now have a stack of Coutinho money. They want Van Dijk. Southampton says $75 million. So it just completely inflated the market. And no one foresaw that coming. Also, this is before Ed Woodward went out and misspent all that money, which is exactly why United's financial situation is as tied up as it is right now. If the signings of Di Maria and Memphis Depay and Morgan Schneiderlin actually worked out as planned, United wouldn't be in this mess on the pitch, and they would be much healthier financially. Sunday was a bad game for a lot of people, notably Harry Maguire. Something's not right with him. This Mykonos situation is weighing on his head. He had a really bad game on Sunday, and that has caused the revisionist history and the agendas from United fans to hit the maximum here. And let me tell you, it is disgusting. And United Arena put out a tweet that was defending Maguire because the agenda against him was just factually wrong. He put out the video, and we got this tweet, this response from Marky at Marky411. Sounds more like a bit of PR spin BS to try and boost our slabhead as captain. I would prefer a proper leader on the field, don't care what they do off the field. After a year of watching Maguire, he isn't it. He can't even arrange/lead his back line, let alone the team. A lot to unpack here. First of all, on the field, you need multiple leaders, not just one. But more importantly, the captain on the field, the guy who wears the armband, that's an ambassadorial role. All right, what does Hugo Lloris do for Tottenham? What does David De Gea do when he wears the armband? You need players, multiple players, not just your captain, to have those leadership roles on the field. A captain is a captain for exactly what he does off the field. That is why Solskjaer went after Maguire. Maguire is never going to live up to his price tag, which is completely unfair. He gets slagged off because of that 80 million pound price tag. And that's not fair. He didn't sit there and say, oh, I'm not coming to United unless you make me the most expensive defender of all time. Leicester did that. And United didn't spend all that money just because of Maguire's defense. They spent it because of his quality on the ball, his defense, and more importantly, because of his leadership abilities. More importantly, he can't even arrange his back line, let alone the team. Dude, have you seen what United's defense was the year before he came? What's the number one knock on David De Gea? He can't organize his box. He doesn't command his box. United have a terrible defense. Harry Maguire comes in, and suddenly United's defense gets much better. That's not all attributed to Maguire, but they were also one of the most organized teams in the league last year. The criticism on David De Gea is still he doesn't command his box. So how did United get suddenly more organized? Was it Victor Lindelof, who wasn't doing it for the 2 years prior? Nah, dude. It was the 80 million pound defender. Same thread. Nathaniel October at Nate's SA comes in. Some people aren't meant to be leaders. Maguire isn't a leader. It's just the way it is. Bruno is a leader. Natural leader. Gary gave captaincy to Giggs. Maguire can do the same to Bruno. Okay, so we're going with a lot of revisionist history here. Gary Neville never gave the captaincy to Ryan Giggs. Neville was the captain. When he got injured a lot. When he didn't play, Ryan Giggs wore the armband. When Giggs didn't play, Rio Ferdinand wore the armband. When Neville finally retired, Sir Alex Ferguson gave the armband to Vidic because he said, I want someone who's going to be in the team every week. Ryan Giggs was never officially the captain. He only wore the armband when Gary Neville didn't play. If you want to have an agenda, at least bring some facts. When the news came out about the entire package that Jadon Sancho wanted, which was close to about 250 million euros, including the agents' fees and everything, I tweeted about the agents and how they have put their fingerprints all over these deals and what in the world has happened. At Snehal with a bunch of numbers. Agents ruin football. The players appoint them, so it's basically the players themselves. Football players aren't just looking to impress on field anymore. They want social media attention and such stuff. Hence, the agents with the entire team has become so important for them. Snehal, you need to learn the difference between an agent and a manager. Have a good week.